What's going on, Wacky Cat? Skyrim, Starfield. Which one is better? Is it too early to be comparing these two games? I don't think so. First of all, I want you to understand something. To me, Skyrim is the greatest game of all time. So many hours have been poured into that game. I've never played a video game consistently for that long. I mean, it came out with remakes. Well, not a remake, but different editions through the years. The game came out in 2011, and I will still pop it in. Starfield, for many of us, this was supposed to be Skyrim in space, in which it does have the elements of Skyrim. You can see the Skyrim in it. You can see, the fingerprint of Bethesda is on Starfield. But the thing that made Starfield kind of not as great as Skyrim is the loading screens. Now, I'm a Bethesda fan, and I don't mind loading screens. Loading screens is in all the games, all the Bethesda games. And first, let me back up. This game is getting a lot of praise, and I'm one of the guys that praised it. And it's getting a lot of hate. But let's separate the hate right quick. The majority of the hate is coming from, I gotta say it, the PlayStation fanboys. Due to the fact we know this is a console war. PlayStation guys really can't get to play it unless they got an Xbox. We all know the deal, so they're nitpicking at every little thing. But at the same time, it's over the top dramatic. This is coming from a Bethesda fan, and comparing the two, Skyrim and Starfield, and even Fallout. Now, it's more dialogue like never before in this game. There's more side missions. It's going to take a long time to beat this game completely. The leveling up system is relentless. It takes too long. I think the guys at Bethesda, the team at Bethesda wants you to play this game for a very long time. And for a casual gamer, that a person that's never played Skyrim, never played Elder Scrolls, never played Fallout, it's going to take a lot of that patience for them to understand why is it taking so long? Why I got to keep hearing the dialogue? Well, if you're a fan of Skyrim, you fall in love with the dialogue. You don't mind talking to the NPCs for hours. You don't mind leveling up your player. Now, with Starfield, it takes entirely too long to level up your player to do one simple thing. It's relentless. Like, to carry more stuff, you have to grind, and then you can level it up a little bit. Then you got other perks that it takes a very extreme long time, which there forces you to play more to get what you really want to do. The game wants you to learn its different aspects, and some of it, do you have the patience to learn, like to craft these different weapons to do different things in the game? Of course, I'm going to do it, but Skyrim wasn't that long paced. Now, the loading screens in Skyrim, there was loading screens, I admit. But every time you go into a cave, every time you go into a building, a little short loading screen will come. But here's the thing. The whole open world, you can walk from one side of the map to the other side of the map endlessly, but not endlessly, for a very long time without no interruption, without no loading screen. And you will encounter NPCs randomly. without ever having to go into a building or go into a cave. That would made Skyrim feel immersive. We all know Starfield, you have to go on there's too many loading screens and it takes away from the immersion. I think what Starfield is trying to do is trying to immerse you, but it kills it. The loading screen kills it because you're on another planet, and if you go to another planet light years away, a loading screen will come up, and I don't feel like I actually traveled to that planet. It just feel like you got interrupted. I don't feel immersed like, okay, I'm on this planet. Those other planets are far away. I don't feel that way. Maybe the technology is not there, but see, here's the thing. We had a game called No Man's Sky that did it that way, though No Man's Sky doesn't have as nowhere near the amount of content as Starfield, and that may be the problem. It's just too much data to try to do it. But No Man's Sky, you can leave from the planet, take off, and go to another planet and land directly on the planet. Starfield, get in the ship, cutscene, get in outer space, have to click on the planet, have another cutscene. It takes away from that immersion that we all thought was going to be possible. Now, if they would have done that, where you can just fly off one planet and they go out the atmosphere, go to another planet, enter its atmosphere, then it will probably be one of the greatest games of all time. And it will be greater than Skyrim. But that is not the case. And after a while, how patient are you to keep clicking over and over? The game is addictive now. I've been playing hundreds, well, I'm not going to say 100, almost 200 hours of the game. Yeah, I'm in love with the game. But if we're comparing it to Skyrim and Fallout, and it's on next-gen consoles, and it's the next-gen technology, the stuff that we imagine, the possibilities of what should be happening, and it's not happening, then we're all going to be like, wait a minute. There's going to be a disappointment. Because we have these new graphic cards, we have these new consoles. It should do more. But it is doing more, but the way it's doing it is hurting the immersion. And to be fair, but it's not on the fans, but to be fair, this is new technology. These developers are learning how to make games with this new technology. There's going to be bugs, there's going to be glitches, there's going to be things that don't exactly, they're still learning this technology. And that's a gift and a curse because now I can't, because let's talk about the NPCs for a minute. The NPCs on Elder Scrolls Skyrim is way smarter than Starfield. You can pickpocket somebody in Skyrim and then they'll want to fight you or they'll run away. Pickpocket somebody in Starfield, they'll move a little bit and then they'll act like nothing happened. They won't try to fight you. They won't. Well, what's going on? The NPCs, the connection is not there. They're not smarter than they used to be. Now you can put more NPCs on the screen with this new technology of the Xbox, but they're not smarter. I'd rather have less NPCs, but smarter NPCs rather than have more NPCs and dumber NPCs. Because these NPCs, they don't understand. It's like you never pickpocketed them. It's like you never done a crime. They completely forget. And it kind of like, when you are Bethesda fan and you played all these other games, you kind of get a little disheartened. Like, whoa, Skyrim was made in 2011, and now this game is in 2023, and it don't remember. Like, it's like mind-boggling. So you gotta, as a Bethesda fan, you're gonna defend the game because you understand what the game is, but at the same time, you're kind of gonna have to, you do kind of have to forgive it. Like, man, I can't do. It's gonna come into your mind like the other games I could do all that, and you're still gonna play it for hours because you're just a fan of the game and you understand, you take it for what it is. But it does kind of get a little, as a head scratcher as to why, and then you start to think like maybe like what I just said, maybe the technology isn't there yet. Maybe they're trying to learn these new, they say they use the same engine, but even this in the last gen, the NPCs was smarter. Um, Speaking of the game of the year, let's speak of the game of the year. Of course, Starfield is a game of the year candidate, but will it win the game of the year? Now, if it wasn't for Baldur's Gate 3, I would say yeah, because Spider-Man might be a nominee. Zelda probably going to be a nominee. I can see Starfield beating those two, even though, to be fair, Spider-Man is not out yet. But I can see them beating them too. But Baldur's Gate 3, the NPCs are so smart that, and there's so many choices, game-changing choices you can make, that's going to be Starfield's real competition. Now, the thing that's hurting Baldur's Gate 3 is that the way you play the game mechanics of the fighting, the RPG elements, is a lot. It's really complicated to some people, and it's confusing to some people, and you kind of got to be like a hardcore gamer. Here's the thing about the Game of the Year awards. The hardcore gamers really decide who's going to win the Game of the Year. The real hardcore nerds. Now, I'm a nerd too. The casual people, the casual fans, they can vote here and there with some game awards, but when it all comes down to it, the hardcore gamers will decide. The hardcore gamers are in media. These different gaming media outlets, they're hardcore gamers. They know what they're talking about. They're nerds, and yes, some of them can be a little fanboyish with different, but believe me, they know what should be happening. So I will say Starfield and Baldur's Gate 3 are two hardcore games for hardcore gamers. If you bring a casual person in to play these games, will they be able to have the patience to understand these different mechanics? So those are going to be the main two candidates. And the graphics of Baldur's Gate 3, well, the NPCs look better. They're smarter. I just seeing being a difficult, at the end of the day, it's going to come up to the longevity of Baldur's Gate 3 and the longevity of Starfield. I don't know. I think the game awards is in December, and we ain't got much time left. A few months till December, so anything can happen. But Baldur's Gate 3, the thing about that, it came out the element of surprise. Nobody really was checking for Baldur's Gate 3, and it surprised us with its greatness. Starfield, it was out there, it was hyped to the moon, and it came with a little disappointment. So Baldur's Gate 3 got the surprise perk. It's going to be interesting. But as far as Skyrim is concerned, is it too early to tell? Should we be comparing it this early? Or it shouldn't take this long to figure it out that Skyrim, the NPC, the voice acting in Skyrim was better. Now Starfield appears to have more voice actors, and is less more. All these missions going to different planets. Now, at the same time, here's the thing: if you've got a mission at one planet, and then another planet is light years away, is it smart to have the loading screen? Because are you going to actually? Will we have got bored with this game if I get off this planet, get out of the atmosphere, and fly all the way to another planet that's super far away? Should I just travel there, click the button, and travel there through there? And that's probably a discussion that they had, because we don't really see. I mean, it makes sense to do it that way, but then it don't make sense because you're going to be playing this game for way too long to get to finish one mission. I'm going to have to literally fly. So the fast travel element is needed. But the big picture here I'm saying is the NPCs is just not all the way smart. Now if you want to break the game, Skyrim did let you break the game, let you beat up NPCs you weren't supposed to. Now some of them, essential NPCs, you couldn't do it. And you would like the fact that, okay, I can run around and sometimes in Starfield you can do a crime and no one's there to see you. I don't know. I just think Skyrim is better. Starfield is good. Skyrim is better. And some of you may say, why are you comparing these two? These are two different games, same company. Now we got to remember, before any of us was comparing it, they were saying the marketing was saying from the makers of Fallout and Skyrim. So if you're saying that, then you must be implying that this game, Starfield, is going to be like that, but better. If you're saying it's more dialogue than Skyrim, you're saying more of this than Skyrim, more of that than Skyrim, then I'm expecting to see a game that's Skyrim, but better. And we have to talk about the elephant in the room, the genre, if you will, of the game. To be fair to Starfield, to be absolutely fair, medieval style games are better in all gaming in general. Like the medieval style, Skyrim was in medieval world. Elden Ring in a medieval world. Zelda, medieval world. World of Warcraft, medieval world. Medieval games in that atmosphere are going to win every time. To be fair, there's something about those games. The warlocks, the wizards, the orcs, the goblins, the trolls, and Baldur's Gate 3, a medieval world. If Starfield was a medieval world, well, they got that medieval games, Elder Scrolls. But see, now Starfield is in space. Space games are cool, but we like space stuff in movies. Space in science fiction world, the space world, is more movies, Star Wars. So this is a experiment. There has been a lot of space games, but I'm saying they're going against medieval games, medieval towns. It's going to be hard to do. So that element is to be fair. But Starfield, in all, is a great game. I'm loving the game. Comparing it to, and it's personally my game of the year. But I am disappointed at some of the elements. And it's not huge. It doesn't completely take away from the game, but it kind of, I'm a big NPC guy of the AI. I like the AI to be smart. I don't like to have to dumb myself down in a video game. The AI don't really much make sense. In the combat, the AI is acting weird as well. So, a guy like me notice these things. I know we just don't notice. Oh, I'm going to ignore it. No, if you make a product and you put certain items in it, certain aspects in it, I'm going to look for it in your next video game, in your next product. I'm going to be looking like, does it still have this? Does it still have that? I'm not going to ignore the fact that, okay, I have more stuff to do, more planets, but wait a minute, let's talk the little things. Sometimes it's the little things that counts. And the NPCs and the less loading screens and the more area to walk around in Skyrim was the little things that should have been. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, all in all, great game. But Skyrim is still the GOAT. It doesn't come nowhere near close to me. Well, anyway, I'm Wacky Cat. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I'm out.